going on, guys? My name is Nick Foy. Welcome to today's Pinterest tutorial video. This is a 2021 version, so updating my other Pinterest videos. The layout has changed on Pinterest. They have added a bunch of new features. They've redesigned their website. So when you log into Pinterest.com to your Pinterest account, we're going to show you exactly the different features and current layout that Pinterest has for us to use. So if you've watched any of my old tutorial videos on my Pinterest playlist on my channel here, a lot of comments were saying that, the page no longer looks that way in those videos, and that is true because Pinterest has updated it. So let's go ahead and start with the basics. So all I've done so far is I just logged into my account, and this is the first page that it's going to bring me to. Now, this page looks the way it does because I am using the Business Hub. In other words, I have a business version of my Pinterest account. Now, if you have, a basic personal account, you can convert it to a business account if you're going to be using it for business, like to have your website that you're trying to drive traffic to using Pinterest. So this is what the back end looks like when you first sign in. We can see my name of my account here. We can see how many monthly views I'm getting, how many followers I have. And then as we scroll down the page here, we can see some more statistics for recent pins. We have top pins, we have all pins, and we can go in and look at analytics as well. So if we scroll down here, one of the things I love about Pinterest, they didn't have a few years ago that they have now, is a lot more data. Now we're able to see how many impressions, how many clicks. We can see what date we created these pins. And so this is all good information so that we can kind of get some awareness. How long has the pin been around? Maybe my pins that have been around for 3 years have gotten way more impressions, way more clicks because they're older. They've had time to age as compared to some of my newer pins that were more recently published. So the data that you can access now on Pinterest can really give you great insight into your business and how your marketing is performing. So you can see how many impressions you're getting, how many clicks you're getting to your website each 30-day period that goes by. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just jump out to the main page. So to do so, we have two options. One, I can go to my profile by clicking on this little icon over here. That's my logo image. Or I can go out to the home feed of Pinterest. So let's go ahead and start on my profile. So I'll go ahead and just click on the little icon. It takes me out to my profile where we can see kind of our banner for our profile. This just automatically pulls a lot of different pins of mine. So it creates this banner itself. You don't have to worry about doing this. It did this for me. And then I've uploaded my logo here, or my profile picture. And it's just a picture of me holding a golf club. And then we've got the profile name, so Golf Practice Guides. I've linked my website and I've confirmed it. So I've already verified it or claimed it by using some source code in my website to show that, hey, I actually do own it. I have access to the back end of my website. And so I was able to verify my website. So when people come to my profile, they can check out more about me by clicking on the website link there. But again, you want to give a little bio. So I just wrote in, I'm a scratch golfer. I run an online community of 35,000 plus golfers over on my website, golfpracticeguides.com. Come join us. So give a little bit of about section here, what your profile is about, so people can understand when they click through and are looking at your profile. Now here we can see how many followers I have, how many monthly views I'm getting. So these are some credibility numbers that people can see when they land on your profile to see that you are, an established brand, that you have a successful website or a successful community that you're building if they want to become a part of that community. So that's kind of the basics when you first land on the profile page that people see in this above the fold section. So as we start to scroll down the page, we're going to see some of the pins. So we can see created pins, your story pins, and then we can create a story pin here. So we'll get more into story pins in a different video, but let's go ahead and keep scrolling down here. We've got different pins here that I've recently published. So we can see some of the different designs that I've done. I use canva.com. So if you go to canva.com, it's a free website, and that's where I use their Pinterest template to start off with this size of an image, and then I add my text, my images, and things like that to create these different pins. So these are all the different pins that I've published. I haven't been publishing pins lately. I've been working on other projects for my brand. But we can see here that these pins that have been published at some point in time, they have data down here that shows how many views they've had in the last 30 days and how many clicks they've had. So this one, for example, got over 1,200 views in the last 30 days. and 27 people clicked to my website. That's what this arrow means here, how many clicks. Now, how many saves, how many repins, that's the little pin symbol here. But for me, I mostly care about how many clicks I'm getting to my website. So I look at the little arrow number here to see, which pins are getting clicks. And if I notice, for example, a certain pin has a lot of clicks compared to others, I'll see what type of content that is. So for example, this one up here that appears to have the most clicks, 27, it happens to be based around fitness. So maybe I'll create more, fitness content in the future if that's what's seeming to do well here in the recent days on Pinterest of the different pins that I've posted. So that's the basic view of the profile now. This is the 2021 updated layout when you're on desktop or a laptop. If you're on mobile, it's obviously going to look different, but I am on a computer today. Now, as far as up here in the top menu bar, you've got a business account. Again, I'm using a business profile. So I get access to some of these different drop downs like analytics and running ads if I want to boost my pins by paying Pinterest to boost them for me. So we've got different drop downs. You might not see these if you just have a basic personal account. And then over here on the right side, we've got search if we want to search for content. We've got the notification bell. This is all the different notifications that I've received from my account. So we can go ahead and click into it and we can see people are saving my pins. So that's mainly what the notifications are that I'm getting. We've got messages here, so people are trying to reach out and message me. We've also got people inviting me to their boards that they want me to join so I can become a member of their boards and contribute to their boards. So that's the messages drop down your inbox there. We've got this other kind of like microphone looking button here, and this is how we can build our audience. So we can check our engagement here. So I can see, these are different people who have recently commented on different pins of mine, and I can click into these comments and either delete them or respond to them. So you can connect with your community here. So this is the engagement center where you can, respond to different comments. So those are the different icons up here on the right side. And then again, my logo here. This gets me into my actual profile page like we've already gone through. We've got the drop down arrow here that's going to take us into a bunch of different settings. So if we want to connect other Pinterest accounts so we don't have to log in and out of multiple accounts, we can do so here. Or we can go into the actual behind the scenes settings and set up, notification settings if we want to get notifications to our email or to our phone. We can change, our website. We can change our bio. We can change our profile image. So a lot of those features are going to be done in our settings. Now, if we want to adjust our home feed based on what Pinterest is going to show us on our home feed, we can go in and tune up our home feed here. If we want to learn more about ads or request a certain feature, we can submit a request. We can get help looking at a bunch of helpful tutorials and FAQs. And then we've got the privacy terms that Pinterest has to show us as part of their privacy policy. And then log out. So that's a little bit of the basics of the layout here. We can go more in depth in some of these drop downs that you get access to with the business account in a little bit in this video. But let's go out and look at our home feed. So click on this button here and we can go back to the home feed by clicking on home feed. So here's what it looks like when somebody logs into Pinterest and they want to start browsing for different pins. So it's going to display a feed of pins here. We've got our profile that's going to show up here in the top left corner. But then we get, just a diverse display of different pins as we scroll down the page here. So these are things that, are based on interest that you've indicated to Pinterest or things that you've searched for in the past. So Pinterest recognizes what types of content you like to look up, and they try to show you more content similar to what you've previously searched before or indicated is one of your interests. So for me, I like to look up home renovation tips a lot of times, paint colors, different ideas for how to style houses. I flip houses for a living, so I was renovating a house, looking up flooring ideas and, paint ideas. So that's where I'm getting a lot of home renovation type pins here on my feed. I also look up sports and golf sometimes, so I, get some golf pins from time to time as well. So how does Pinterest decide, again, what pins to show here? Well, one, it's going to be your interests that you've indicated. Two, it's going to be pins of people that you follow. So if you follow different Pinterest accounts and they publish pins to their boards, some of those pins are going to show up here in your feed. So having this awareness, this knowledge of what types of pins show up here this is how you can get a better understanding of your pins that you're creating for your audience. So if you are putting out pins on a day-to-day basis, some of your pins are going to show up in your followers' feeds. And so your followers are going to then see your pins and click on them, and that's how you're going to get some initial views and some initial traffic. Now, in addition to the For You tab, let's go into the Today tab. So this is where Pinterest is just going to have daily inspiration on a bunch of different topics. So for example, March 27, 2021, this is today's daily inspiration. So backyard bar inspiration, so we can click into this category, and it's just going to bring up a bunch of pins that have been geared towards backyards. So people that want to create, the ultimate at-home experience in their backyard. So these are cool ideas that you can browse through and get some different inspiration from. So that's the other idea as well. If you want to look at, some of the most recent pins that have gone out for these different groups of topics, or you can go back to the For You tab and just see a bunch of different pins that Pinterest thinks you're interested in. All right, so that's the home feed. This is how the feed displays to your followers and how your pins are going to show up in people's, home feeds, and that's how you're going to get some initial clicks and shares of your pins. The other way is showing up in the search engine. So if we click on the little search bar here, people can search all kinds of different ideas on Pinterest. So for example, if I was in the golf niche and I'm trying to get people to find my pins, I want to optimize my pins for different golf terms. So for example, if I type in golf chipping tips, this might be something I'm interested in. So if I click on golf chipping tips, it's going to load a bunch of pins it thinks are related to golf chipping tips. So you can see, for example, 3 chipping drills to practice at home. This is one of my articles that I've pinned here, and it's made its way to the top of the search results. So it's one of the first pins that gets seen at the top here. So that gives it a higher chance of getting clicked on and getting shared, or at least driving traffic to my website when they click on it. So if you want to optimize pins for the search results, then you need to make sure you're using keywords like golf chipping tips in your title or in your description of your pin when you are uploading it to Pinterest. So you can see here in the title, I used the word chipping, and so that's probably the key word that helped trigger Pinterest to know that this pin is about chipping. So when I use the word in my title here, it helps Pinterest pick it up and classify it under chipping. So when anybody types in chipping or chipping tips or chipping drills, then it gives this pin a chance to show up for those different keywords that people are searching. So we're going to get more into SEO, search engine optimization, different tips of how to optimize your pins for the search engine, for these search results, so that you can show up here at the top of the page for different keywords. And that's going to help boost how many clicks and how many impressions you're getting each month for your different pins and getting, traffic to your website. So you can see several more of my pins have made it here. I've got this golf practice guides pin here. I think we saw another one right here, the 6 best chipping tips to follow. So I've got multiple pins that show up here for this keyword, and that's another strategy I want to share with you, is that you should create multiple types of content, so multiple articles, and then within each article, you should create maybe 5 to 10 different pins for each article as well, so that you can diversify your pin design. You can see here this one's using orange and white text with an image, and then this one looks a little different. It had more of a background image with like a white overlay on top of it, and then some big bold black text. And then this one was like a darker themed. So I got multiple different designs and styles of pins I'm using and testing to try to capture people's eyes and just kind of test things out and give a different perspective. That way I don't always have the same, boring design. So that's another tip, experimenting with your pin design, seeing what works, what doesn't. So by making 5 to 10 different pins for each article that you write, you can diversify and give yourself a better chance of getting different pins ranking in the search engines, because the more you put out, the more chances you have of ranking different pins. All right, so let's go ahead and talk more now about some of the extra business features you get when you have a business account. So starting off with this Create tab here, this is a general tab most people should have by default on their account. You're going to have the create a pin or create an ad. So create an ad just means you're going to upload a pin or pick an existing pin you've already published to your account. So let's go ahead and just click in just to see what it looks like. So again, it's going to make us choose one of our existing pins, or we can add a new pin to create here. So if I wanted to do this golf mat drills to fix ball striking, I would just click on this pin, click on next, Next, it's going to ask where we want to send them, so the destination URL. So by default, since I've already uploaded this pin and already linked it to a URL to an article on my website, it fills that in by default. Now, if this was just a blank image that we just uploaded for the first time, we might have to copy paste what blog article we want to send it to and paste that in there. Now, our daily budget, how much do we want to spend each day? How many days do we want to run the ad? So maybe my budget would be, $5 a day, and we're going to run it for 10 days. So in total, we're going to spend about $50 on this ad. Now, if we want to run it continuously, we could checkbox that here. Targeting, we can, target specific types of followers. We also get to look here, desktop versus mobile, so we can take an idea of what it's going to look like on each of the platforms by clicking into each platform. We can see how much potential audience size we have here. If we can go ahead and just click on the promote button, and it'll start running this as a Pinterest ad since I've already uploaded my payment information. All right, so actually just to create a pin that you just want to post to one of your boards on your profile, we just click on that create a pin button, and it's going to ask us to upload our image here. We can also do videos as well, so if you want to upload a video like an MP4 file, but they have to be a certain file size or smaller. Otherwise, if it's too big, you won't be allowed to upload it. Next, we're going to give it a title. So this is where we can add some keywords, like I mentioned, adding in the word chipping into the title, and that's how I showed up in the search results for different chipping phrases like chipping tips, chipping drills. And then we've got the little description section here where we can again talk about what our pin is, why someone should click on it, what they're going to learn, and using some different keywords in our description like chipping or golf or drills or tips. And then using some alt text as well, we can kind of explain what people can see in the pin. So if our pin doesn't load, it's just for some reason the image doesn't load, a lot of times alt text will show up instead so somebody can understand what that image is about. Then our destination link, this is where we want to put our URL to our website, to our blog article that we're trying to drive traffic to from Pinterest. Or if we're running an e-commerce store, we can upload our product page or our store page here so that when they click through, that's where it takes them. Now, if we want to publish immediately, we leave that checked by default. If we'd like to schedule our pin, we can publish at a later date. When we're all ready, then the last step is to come here and select a board that we want to pin to. So I can pick one of my boards here on my profile, and then we're just going to click on the red publish button. So that's the basics of how to get a pin live on your profile. It's quite simple. You go into Canva or a photo design software, build out your image, and then save that image to your computer, and then come in here to the create a pin, and upload that image, and then just start filling out some of this additional information for it. All right, analytics we'll go over in another video, so check the description below. Also check my playlist for Pinterest, as I'm going to have another video entirely over analytics. Again, this is something you get access to when you have a Pinterest business account. Same thing with ads. I'm going to go over another video where we walk through all these different settings and different analytics that you can get with Pinterest ads. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss these additional Pinterest videos I'm coming out with. So that's it for today's video. We've walked you through the basics of your Pinterest profile, what it looks like today in 2021, how things are laid out, what the different settings are, and then we talked about the home feed, explaining how it works, how the search works if you're trying to search for pins and show up in the search results, and then we talked about how to create an ad and how to create a pin. So if you enjoyed today's video, if you gained value, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We are coming out with videos each week over Pinterest as well as websites and marketing, so you can learn how to get more traffic, more eyes on your products, and make more money for your business.